So a quick pitch on just who we are at CNHP, the database that we're hoping you'll consider contributing data to, and if you're willing, how to do that. And Brad and I are both biologists at CNHP. Brad is a lifelong herper. A lot of you probably know him. He's done Boyle toad monitoring for CPW for the past 20 plus years, plus lots of other projects around the state. And I am technically a botanist, but I love herbs, and Brad has took me on a few of his projects through the years. And currently I'm mostly focused on gathering data. So CNHP, we're on campus at CSU. We're part of the Warner College of Natural Resources, and we are also part of the NatureServe network, which is responsible for rarity ranking of species across their range. And we, among other things, they do a lot of conservation work. It's a conservation group. And we are responsible for that within Colorado and using the information to help prioritize conservation. And so the database that I'm talking about is called CODEX, Colorado's Conservation Data Explorer. And this is a big collaborative project, and Colorado Parks and Wildlife is a lead partner. And this is, for the first time, CPW, CNHP, Bird Conservancy of the Rockies, other people's data are gathered in one convenient place. And then all these overlapping layers, including like land ownership and land disturbance index and things, can be used to conveniently figure out conservation priorities when you have a project going on. And it's available to the public. Just Google Codex CNHP and you can sign up and get an account. And if you have any trouble, let us know. Oh, okay. I have 10 minutes, so I gotta move. This is too much to read, but there are lots of participants and collaborators in this project. So let's talk herps. CNHP tracks 10 amphibians and 18 reptiles, and that means that we actively collect data on where they are and condition for these species. And these dots have accumulated through the years from CNHP surveys, museum database, data exchanges with CPW, Uber biologists like Lauren Levo and Jeff Hammerson sharing their data sets with us, and more recently, citizen science. Oh, I forgot to say about those. A lot of those dots are over 20 years old or represent imprecise locations, and that's where your information can help, because better data leads to better decisions, and your data is awesome data, fresh and precise. So these are the species that we at CNHP collect data for, and this list follows the Colorado Parks and Wildlife Action Plan, species of greatest conservation need, with the addition of 2 turtles, the smooth soft-shell turtle and painted turtle, just in that southwest corner, that isolated population. Plus we have an additional 7 reptiles on a watch list, which is kind of lower priority tracking list. So just a side note, if you check our website, this is more current. As part of putting this meeting talk together, Brad and I revamped the list a little bit. So this is more current. Okay, so one concern is data privacy. When we distribute data to the public, we obscure locations to the area of a USGS 7.5-minute quad. And that's about 7 miles by 8.5 miles. So if you saw, I don't have a pointer, something within that rectangle, it wouldn't show the point, it would just show within this rectangle, right? But land managers who are using the data for decision making for projects. They get precise locations on public land because they need that for the decision making. And on private land, the observations are generalized to 1 square mile. And those they have to do a signed data agreement where they've agreed, okay, this is for internal use only, and we will not distribute it, and we hold them to it. Okay, so let's talk citizen science. How many of you are iNaturalist people? Or, wow, lots. Junkies, I should say, because once you get started, you're going to go crazy, right? So if you don't know what it is, or you're thinking about getting started, ask around here, and I'm sure you'll find somebody that'll help you figure it out. This is a hunter observation, Colorado snake hunter. It's not a secret, that's your name, right?
No, that's not anymore, at least.
Well, you click on that, it shows your name, so that's okay. So, iNaturalist obscures locations for sensitive species, which is pretty much everything we track, to that big rectangle. So that just means he saw that critter somewhere within that rectangle, right? So that you don't attract too much attention and get collectors out there and mess it all up. So this kind of data is good for generalized range maps, but it's not that helpful for planning, like on-the-ground planning. So that's my pitch, is if you're willing, it's super easy. iNaturalist has made it super easy to share point locations with a project, and this is how you do that. It's kind of small and fuzzy, isn't it? Anyway, up in the top corner, that's the iNaturalist regular page when you open it. And then if you go to, what does that say up there? I forget what it says.
What is it, like community?
Community, that's it. Community. Then you scroll down and choose projects, and then you can search for Colorado Natural Heritage Program as a project, and then click on that project. And then you get this page, which gives you this question, trust this project with hidden coordinates. And there's 2 ways that coordinates are obscured in iNaturalist. One, they obscure every observation for a long list of sensitive species, like the ones that green toad that Hunter had. So those are all obscured. And then you also have the option of, okay, I don't care, common or rare, I don't want anybody to know where this is. You can personally obscure individual observations, right? And so iNaturalist gives you 2 options on sharing. You can share any of your obs, like if iNat obscured it or if you personally obscured it, or the second choice is only share the ones that iNaturalist obscured. The ones that I obscured myself, sorry, no go, right? And this has to be done from a computer, not a phone. Does it show on my phone?
You can join it on the phone.
Oh, you can do the hidden coordinates part?
Well, you can join the Colorado Natural Heritage Program and whatever their default is, which I would assume is the shared.
No, because they really, really want you to consider that
share
as an individual, right? So the default is no. And so then I think you have to go on a computer. That's what people have told me, not a phone, to get this box to show up. If that's different, let me know. If you've already joined the project and you wanted to change, 5 minutes, okay. You wanted to change from a no to a yes, you go to community, and then you'll see the project listed, and then click on that, your membership, and then you get this box. Or if any of this is confusing, email me or message me on this thing. Okay. Here is another hunter obs, and I just wanted to point out, if you're willing to share and wanted to go one step further, you could stick extra information in that notes field, such as what did you see, about how many, anything relevant about habitat or threats, not required, just if you were willing, it helps add context to observations. And we have other ways to contribute if you're not an INAT person. INAT's probably the easiest because you're out there anyway and it's so fun. But we have this form online on our webpage. You go to our data and then go down to contribute data and this will show up. It's a long form, but all that's required is those top things: species, date, location, observer, email. So that's just another way you can contribute. And we are going to ask HerpMapper if we can get access to their locations. How many of you are HerpMapper people? Okay, a lot of HerpMappers too. Okay. Plus, we are happy to accept data any way anybody wants to submit it. Spreadsheet, GIS file, whatever you got. Talk to us. Field notebook, photocopy, whatever. Okay, oh, and before, if there are any questions, Brad wanted me to mention, sometimes we hire field techs, and so keep an eye on our website and talk to Brad. He's the guy. And we also have an paid internship for CSU students, 10 weeks. So if you're curious about that, talk to me. That's only CSU students and you have to be an active student. So that's it. Thanks, everybody.
How often do you find location discrepancies from like signal issues? Like if you're going out and herping somewhere where it's like no cell signal and then you go back home and publish it, do you find it often or really not often that can contribute to location discrepancies?
I don't know. I know you can use INAT when you don't have cell service because your GPS is still working. So it should be okay. Have you run into that?
I flag anything that comes up with that. I mean, you'll see if any of you use iNaturalist, you've probably seen the ID your thing. So if anything that goes through iNaturalist, I probably ID and I'll flag it if it's got incorrect data location, and so you can fix it, or so they can fix it. So typically you get that. But
That was another thing I wanted to mention is you guys are so good about vetting each other's observations. It's so good. It's not like that in botany. You can get all kinds of mis-IDs because just two anybody's can say it's that, and then it's research grade. But you herpers get a gold star for that.
excellent. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.